All right, so to begin with the Bootstrap files, and welcome everybody to this online course here. So I want to just do a quick introduction as to some of the things that I covered in class prior to leaving. And that would be covering the files that you have received and what all they mean. So just kind of a quick review here. So inside of this exercise folder here, this one that you have here, your Bootstrap exercise files, you have all of the chapters that we're going to be covering in this class. Hopefully we get through all of this, depending. But more importantly, you have this Bootstrap template. And inside this template is your CSS, which is the bootstrap.min.css. So that's your Bootstrap minimum. You have an images folder that just has various images specifically for this. When I open this up, you'll see that. But specifically, that'll be used kind of throughout this course. And then you also have the JavaScript files that you need for Bootstrap, which includes also the jQuery and the popper that was covered earlier today. If you don't quite understand what popper, the jQuery or whatever was or is, then don't worry about it. The bottom line is you have this template. If I open up in Dreamweaver, which is what we're going to use here, and I'll cover that in a bit more detail in a little bit here, but this particular file here that you were given is the template with all of those files. It's linked to all of those scripts, the popper script, your Bootstrap minimum script, the jQuery script. It has links to the style sheet, the CSS style sheet for Bootstrap, and then a container to begin working with a class of container. As you see, since we don't have any content inside of the container, which is inside your body tag here, and we don't have any content in there yet, then you notice that there's nothing on the page. So if I kind of scroll up here, because I have it in split view, this is what your page looks like right now. But eventually down the line here, as you add information, of course, to your container and start doing your rows and columns and working with this 12-column grid, which I'll talk about in 1 second, then you'll notice that, again, you're going to have content down below. All right, so moving on. So the bottom line is with that, save this folder that is your basic template, Bootstrap template, and then you can use this for everything. You can use it for your entire website. You have it, all the files are linked up, all the CSS is in there for you to use. And then you just have to, set up your columns and containers and grids, and then of course do your styling using the Bootstrap styles and topography navbar. Obviously you have a bunch of other information that needs to be added to that, but for the most part, this is your template. You can rename the file and use it for your about page, or use it for your portfolio page, or whatever it is that you're building. But that is the basics of what you're going to need when you start building a website in Bootstrap. So just save this whole folder. It's called Bootstrap template. Save that folder. I'd make a copy of it, in fact several copies of it, so in case you lose it or something, then you still have it for future use. And then every time you start a Bootstrap website, you can just go ahead and go in and open this up and you're good to go. You don't have to do any downloading of Bootstrap or trying to figure out what JavaScript you need, what CSS you need, and so on. All right, so moving on from there, the other file that you have received is this Bootstrap Student Dictionary.pdf. And inside there are all of these things that we're going to talk about throughout this course. And it gives you a little bit of explanation for each one of these. So if you're, say, trying to do capitalization, then it has the code right here that you would use to write a lowercase or an uppercase or capitalize something. I have things like, your text styles and how to do a list. And so all of this, as we move through here, you'll understand it more. But if you wanted to bold some text, this is how it would be written in Bootstrap. It's a little different than your HTML5 and CSS, but this is how it's written in Bootstrap. So I've made this up, put this all together for you so you can work on, so you kind of use this as a cheat sheet for whatever it is that you want to do. You want to align images, then, look up your aligning images and go ahead and see how that's written. If you want to float left or float right, or you want the image to be in the center, or you want it to just cover the entire page, web browser page, whether it be on a phone or, on an iPad or on an actual computer, then it's MX-auto. And this ends up covering the entire page. So your entire browser window, I should say. So anyway, that's what this is. And I've done up columns and column specs and nesting and vertical alignment. So you have this whole kind of cheat sheet that you can use and look up if there's something specific you're trying to do and you aren't quite sure how to do it, then it might be listed in here. Probably will be. I put this in quite a bit of detail. So you have that for you to use down the line here. All right, so that's the opening. I'm going to start with then, your basic template. We kind of covered, how to, Will probably went through how to download Bootstrap and so on. But once again, you just need these files and this Bootstrap template right here in order to write any Bootstrap you want to write. Any kind of Bootstrap file you want to write. It's right here. All right, so let's move on to columns and grids. That'll be in the next video.